Try to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, a.k.a. Derringer. Today is Sunday, December 2nd, and you are listening to episode 185 of the Instant Action Podcast, your weekly source for Planetside 2 news and information. As always, I'm brought to you by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on instantactionpodcast.com. So first off, a big thank you to everybody last week who listened to the show and then immediately ran over and started using my Amazon link. I really appreciate you guys doing that on Cyber Monday and having a few extra bucks thrown my way by courtesy of Amazon themselves. Again, it's holiday season is in full swing right now, so please continue to do that. I really, really do appreciate it. Other than that, what's been going on with me? Been playing a little bit of Planetside. I'm not going to lie. When I log in and play, I just wish that the NS operatives were already live so that I could go and actually play them rather than just regular live servers. Maybe that's just me, but I'm kind of jonesing for that and not so much regular play, but I've still got my fair share of Planetside 2 game time in. But I don't know what it is, but I've found myself playing less time overall. Like I'll play for an hour instead of my normal 2-hour play sessions, and after that hour, I've kind of been done with it and then moved on to go do something else. And in all honesty, a lot of it has been, surfing Amazon myself to do Christmas shopping for my family and stuff like that. So maybe it's just the fact that I've got Christmas on the mind right now, and not Planetside 2 on the mind right now. But I'm sure that's going to rectify itself this month as we've got some deals to talk about for the month itself. And I don't want to just talk about Christmas, and I want to remind, or say, not so much remind, but say Happy Hanukkah to all my Jewish listeners out there as well. I love you all also. But enough Christmas, enough Hanukkah, enough non-Planetside 2 talk. What's in store for this week's show? Well, first, as I just alluded to, the 31 Days of Auraximas is back, so I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about what you get to buy this month. After that, I want to step into the Wayback Machine and talk about the PTS update that I didn't get to talk about last week since I had Drew was on, but I think you'll all agree that's okay. Drew was an awesome guest. Then I have the most recent PTS update to talk about. That dropped on the 26th of November. And then I want to finish up this week's show and talk about some dual wielding comments or Reddit post. So strap in as we hot drop into another episode of the Instant Action Podcast. All right, first up this week, the 31 days of deals, because of course Auraximas is here. Auraximas is something that they've been doing for a few years in a row now. Maybe it's 3-4 years maybe at this particular junction that they've been doing the 31 days of Auraximas. Sometimes it was only 25 days of Auraximas, but either way, Auraximas is here. And if you're not familiar with what Auraximas is, basically the devs have decided, and I love them for it, to bring into the game the ability to purchase some things that you may have missed out on previous years. So each day, except for the weekends, there's a different thing that is available for 24 hours only to purchase, and it's good stuff. Let's not mince words here, because right now, today's the 2nd, so unfortunately, if you're listening to the show on Monday and you're not one of my Patreon people who's going to be able to listen to the show today, the 1st and 2nd of December, the first anniversary bundle is available. Now, I have all the bundles because I've purchased them all each year, so I have them all. But if you're a completionist who's newer to the game itself and weren't out there in 2013, when the first anniversary rolled around, you would have the opportunity to purchase the first anniversary bundle and get all the great stuff that was included within it. So I'm not going to spend as much time on that one because, again, you're most likely listening to this show on Monday the 3rd, and therefore you're going to miss out on this bundle if you didn't log in. But starting on Monday, they're going to be offering the HL4 armor bundles. And for those that are curious, these are the Havoc, Sigma, and Darkstar armors that Faven had created quite a while ago. And if it's going to be anything like 2018, these are only going to be available for $29.99 Daybreak Cash. So, I mean, less than $30, you're getting armor for every faction, for every class within the game itself. And I mean, in all honesty, I love the VS armors that Faven put together, and I wear quite a few of them on all my VS characters. So if you don't have these, they're actually pretty damn cool, I do have to say. Some of my favorite armors within the game itself. So that's going to be on the 3rd. On the 4th, we're going to get 20% off implant packs. That's not a bad deal. On the 5th, you're going to be able to buy the NS Victory knife. On the 6th, you're going to be able to buy the NS11C Platinum variant. That's the only way you can actually get this particular weapon. So if you're looking for another variant of the NS11C, the carbine variant, and platinum, that's how you can get it. On the 7th, you're going to be able to purchase the solid faction camo colors. These are the basically a red, a blue, and a purple faction camo. On the 8th and 9th, that's the next weekend, you're going to be able to purchase the second anniversary bundle. Again, this is the only way you're able to get the second anniversary bundle ever again, so I would jump on that if you want to. And if you're curious what's in that second anniversary bundle, you're going to get a 6-month heroic boost, a 5-pack implant pack, which I assume it's updated to the newest implants because this used to be the old ones way back in the second anniversary. You're going to get AE variants of the Baron and the 15M. You're going to get the 1-year anniversary camo, main battle tank and ESF anniversary horns. You're going to get the Hex Edge, Hard Light Dagger, and Damascus Edge knives. You're going to get Hard Light armor for all classes and all factions. So that one usually runs $39.99 for non-members. Moving on from there into the next week, you're going to be able on the 10th to get the St. Patrick's Day bundle, which was a new one this year. And this is one I actually bought this year, and I like it a lot. You're going to get a Shamrock decal, the Leprechaun decal. Those are kind of meh. You're going to get the Lucky Tire Trails for the Ant and Sunderer. You're going to get the Jackpot Decimator. That's the one I use all the time. It's really cool green and gold variant of the Decimator. I use it a lot. So that's not a bad bundle that you can actually pick up on the 10th. Again, I have that one, so I'm not going to be looking at that one, but it's definitely one I recommend. The Decimator itself, I love the Decimator. On the 11th, you're going to get 30% off voice packs. I don't know about you guys, but I don't use any other voice packs except for the original ones that we have in the game. And I'm not going to lie, there's some decent voice packs out there. I just don't see myself spending the extra money on it. Now, if Daybreak Games ever gets in touch with me and says, Derringer, would you like to do a voice pack for Planetside 2? First, I will say yes. And then second, I will spend my money on the voice pack. So there's that. On the 12th, you're going to unlock the Lunar Tires bundle, which I'm not going to lie is one I'm not familiar with. I don't see that one anywhere that I've looked. And I'm wondering if that's because Rel was teasing something about working on tires not too long ago. I wonder if this is actually something that he's put together and dropped into the game. We'll have to come back on the 12th. I'm going to be extremely busy on the 12th. I've got it's my wife's birthday, number one. And number two, we're actually going out to a party that night. So I'll have to do my best to try and log in on the 12th. I don't know if I'm going to have time. I'll have to mark my calendar on that one. But moving along, on the 13th, you're able to buy the Commissioner, the Platinum variant of the Commissioner. Again, this is the only way for you to get access to that. On Friday the 14th, you're going to be able to unlock the Metallic faction camo. So it's metallic versions of a purple, a red, and a blue camo that you can get into the game. Then on the 15th and 16th of the weekend, you can actually purchase the 3rd anniversary bundle, which again is the only way that you can get your hands on the 3rd anniversary bundle. So again, for another $39.99, you're looking at another 6-month heroic boost, a 3rd anniversary decal, the nano armor and medical applicator kit, AE versions of those. I use those on all my characters. I love them. The 3rd anniversary camo for main battle tanks, ESFs, and the horn. You also get the NS Commissioner, and I just said there's only one way to get, and that's not true because as I'm reading this, you get AE variants of the Commissioner on TR, NC, and VS. These are red, purple, and blue ones. They're actually really cool. And you also get an AE variant of the mini chain gun on TR, the jackhammer on NC, and the lasher on VS. And you do also get access to the solo red, blue, and purple camos that you can actually buy on the 7th. So if you're thinking of buying the 3rd anniversary bundle this year, you probably don't need the solid faction camos. And again, if you've purchased the 3rd anniversary bundle, you don't need to purchase what is actually dropping on the 7th this year. This is one of my favorite bundles, hands down. Because you get the Commissioners, which look really good. You get the armor kit and the medical applicator that look really good. But more so, you get the mini chain gun, jackhammer, and lasher. Now, again, I'm such a glutton for punishment. I've Auraxiumed all 3 lashers and had a great time doing it. So I was so excited to get this one in this particular bundle. It was the 2nd one that I completed. So number 3, 3rd anniversary bundle. If you don't have it already, this is the one that gets my stamp of approval. So 15th and 16th, be watching out for that. Moving on to the 17th, though, you're able to unlock the Star-Crossed bundle. That's the Valentine's Day bundle that they had earlier this year. Biggest things in these are the different Valentine's Day crossbows that you can get your hands on. On the 18th, you're going to get 40% off the Heat Wave bundle. And if you're curious what's in the Heat Wave bundle, for the weapon bundle, you get NS-11A, a Decimator, the Gorgon, and the 2 Gorgons in Heat Wave variants. And this is normally $29.99 on the depot. So if you're getting 40% off of that, you're getting it down to $1,199. I guess you probably round it up to for 1,200 Daybreak cash, and that's before your membership discount. An additional 10% off of that if you're a member. You're looking at just a little over $10 for Heatwave weapons, and I mean, just getting the Gorgons alone is a decent amount. I mean, Gorgons are definitely a viable option on maxes. So I mean, this is not a bad bundle itself, and for 40% off and a member, you're getting basically 50% off. That's not nothing to sneeze at. Then moving on to the 19th, you're going to get access to bare metal camo, which is not a bad one. On the 20th, you're going to get access to the platinum variant of the NS-15M. Again, this is the only way you're able to get this weapon. On the Friday, the 21st, you're going to get access to pink camos, both the solid camo and the metallic version of the pink camo. I know people love their pink camo. This is the only way you're able to get the pink camos in the game itself, so look out for that. Then on the 22nd and 23rd, you're able to access the 4th anniversary bundle. The 4th anniversary bundle is for, again, $39.99. You get a 6-month heroic boost. You get the 4th anniversary camo, the armor decal, and the vehicle decal. You get the NS AM7 AE variant of the Archer, and you get one for each of your factions. For TR, you get the SMG 46 AE Armistice, the Rams AE. For NC, you get the GR22, the Cyclone, and the Long Shot. I think I missed the TAR on the TR as well. And then for the VS, you get the HV45, my favorite VS gun in the game. You get the Eridani and the Parallax AE variant. So if you're a new player to Planetside 2, the 4th anniversary bundle is the best bang for your buck. So if you're somebody who's joined in the last year or two, you get quite a lot of different weapons within this bundle, and it's one I highly recommend for newer players. And then on the 24th, you're able to unlock the NS Arsenal bundle, which was something that was offered way back in 2015. So, I mean, we haven't seen this one for a number of years. Let's see, this is one of the most interesting bundles in the game, and especially if you're a newer player to the game itself, because you basically unlock every NS weapon in the game with this. So you're getting the Swarm Launcher, you're getting the Commissioner Platinum variant, you're getting the Vandal, the Scout Rifle, you're getting the PDW, the NS-11C Carbine, the MKV Suppressed, the Baron, the NS-11A, the Archer, the NS-15 M2, the Hunter QCX Crossbow. You're getting the Underboss, you're getting the Black Hand, you're getting the Annihilator Launcher, the Decimator Launcher, and both the Campion and the Harrower knives. Again, this is a huge bundle, especially if you're a newer player to the game, where you basically unlock every NS thing in the game itself. And this is an interesting one to consider, especially with the NS Operatives coming out soon. I think the NS Operatives, you're probably going to get a lot of these weapons as default, but maybe not things like a Black Hand or the Baron Shotgun or the MKV, or maybe even the Vandal or the Swarm or a Decimator or Annihilator. I'm not 100% sure, because we don't know what the finals are going to be on those. But if you're someone who's considering being an NS operative a lot like I am, this is not a bundle to not pay attention to, because I think you're going to get a lot of additional ways to play those various characters with the weapons that are available in this bundle. So again, if you're thinking about doing the NS operative stuff, I would definitely mark the 24th or Christmas Eve off on your calendar, and make sure you don't miss it, and really consider thinking about it. Then moving to the 25th, Christmas Day, you get 50% off the Ravenous bundle, and Ravenous bundle is that cool purple swirly skin versions of the Swarm, the Emissary, and the Black Hand. Granted, it's only 3 guns, and they're all sidearms within the game. Well, except for the Swarm, sorry. The Emissary and the Black Hand are both sidearms in the game itself, but I do love the actual green swirly aspect of the Swarm. Of the Ravenous bundle itself. Something to consider on the 25th. Then on the 26th, you're going to be able to purchase the Faction Gold pistols. This is your Beamer, your Repeater, and the NC one that I never remember the name of, but it's the Mag Shot. These were items that you could originally only get for recommending people or referring people into Planetside 2. They were Facebook promotion ones. They also gave out codes to unlock all of them across your characters at one of the SOE lives that I grabbed a bunch of and was giving them out to people left and right way back in the day. I don't have any more, so don't ask me. Way back in the day. These are cool. They're just cool variants of the original guns themselves, original pistols themselves. And they don't do anything different. They just have that gold look to them. They're nice. Moving on to the 27th, you can unlock the Platinum Heavy Weapons. This is your Jackhammer, Mini Chain Gun, and Lasher. This was something that they offered last year, which I took advantage of and purchased all of them. That was the 3rd and final Lasher that I Auraxiumed and had a great time doing. Recommend these highly. Then on the 28th, you're able to unlock the Faction Wrapped Camo. And I don't... did we get this last year? I don't recall this one last year. I'm assuming it's a wrapping paper camo. I mean, that's the only thing that really makes sense. So we'll just go with that. Then on the weekend of the 29th and 30th, you're looking at the 5th anniversary bundle. Now, it doesn't say what they're going to do with this one, but the 5th anniversary bundle was available in 3 different variants, just like this year's bundle was. There was an Initiates, a Soldiers, and a Commanders bundle. I don't know if they're going to offer all 3 of them. I would assume that they're going to offer all 3 of them. And if that's the case, the Initiates, you're going to get the 5th anniversary horn and decals. On TR, you're going to get the Lynx AE variant. On NC, you're going to get the Bandit AE variant, and on VS you're going to get the Zenith AE variant, in addition to gold hex camos for all 3 factions. If you bump yourself up to the Soldiers for a little more, you're going to get a 6-month heroic boost. You're also going to get the horn and the decals again. You're going to get the NS Stalwart helmet and the Lightning Obsidian trim, which I like a lot. In addition to the Lynx, Bandit, and Zenith, you're also going to get the SOAS 20. You're going to get the Stalker, AF-18 Stalker, and the Artemis VX-26 AE variants. In addition, you're going to get a decal on all 3 factions, the Superiority and the Liberty and the Enlightenment decal. And if you bump yourself up to the big Commanders bundle, this is the one that's $89.99 Daybreak Cash, you're going to get a 12-month heroic boost. You're going to get the Counterintelligence Minor Cloak and Infravision implants. You're going to get 9 basic implant packs. You're going to get the Stoic Gold Hex camo and the Warbringer title. The Warbringer titles across all factions too. And then you're going to get all those same exact weapons, decals, and stuff like that. But in addition, you're going to get the Obsidian trim on your Prowler, Vanguard, and Mag Rider, and not just your Lightning. Another good bundle as far as I'm concerned. And then we move to the final day of Auraximas. This is on December 31st. They're throwing out the Planetside 1 Bending bundle again. And this was a fun one that we just saw this last year. It wasn't that long ago. It was only 1,999 Daybreak Cash. I assume it'll be the same. But you'll be able to get your hands on the PS1 AV suppressor. This is the variant of the MKV that looks just like the old-fashioned suppressor. I use it. I love it. You'll get veteran decals for infantry and vehicles. You're going to get access to the Rexo helmet and heavy assault armor for all 3 factions. I love wearing my VS Rexo helmet and armor. You guys will too. And you also get access to solid gray camo on TR, solid yellow camo on VS, and solid cyan camo on VS. Definitely a cool little bundle, especially if you are a fan of Planetside 1 like I was. That's the 31 days of Auraximas in a nutshell. I know it was a long topic, and I said I'd only spend a few minutes on it, but there's so much cool stuff in this, and it's something that the devs do every year that they're proud of doing, and I really appreciate them doing it. This might be the year that I purchased the least amount of stuff on it, because as you get going, like a player like I do, who's been playing this since beta back in 2012, I have the majority of this stuff already. Again, I have all the anniversary bundles. I have all the guns at this point. I have all the weapons. I don't have the Ravenous or the Heatwave weapons. Maybe that's something that I need to look at this year to pick up, because I think that might be the only thing that I'm missing at this point out of all of these bundles. So Drew called me a whale. Maybe I am a whale for Planetside 2 for purchasing a lot of this stuff. But what can I say? I just love the game. But mark your calendars for these. I'm going to include a link in this week's show notes so you can actually see the post, so that you can put your calendar out there. And also follow Planetside 2 on Twitter, because they're going to be tweeting every day when these bundles are available. With that, let's move on to our second topic this week. You know what? Scratch that. Let's get this week's veteran's voice in. Take it away, Romus.
It's rare to get moments like this on Auraxis. Moments you can just go for a walk and not have to worry about having your brain stove in by somebody else's bullets. But it does give you time to think. Especially when I was leaving the base earlier. Something that I noticed that a great many of you seem to do that you should have learned not to do, back when you were in elementary school. Why the name of Sam Hill can't any of you ninny-doodles figure out how to look both ways before crossing the damn street? We're not trying to run you over when we're bounding around in our vehicles. I mean, some of us are, but most of us, we just don't want to hit you. But you're running out there without checking. So for the love of God, please check. Speaking of which, damn it, Bloggins! Moron. Started jeering for me. I'll get him later when I get back to base. You're up, Derringer. I want to enjoy some nice peace and quiet, provided Bloggins stays way the hell away from me.
So as I said at the beginning of the show, our second topic this week is going to be going back in time a little bit because I want to talk about the November 20th PTS update that I didn't get a chance to talk about. I didn't talk about the dev live stream that much either, obviously because I had Drew on last week's show and he was a much better guest than just me talking on and on. But I wanted to at least cover the November 20th PTS update because it did have a little bit of good stuff. And then also next topic is going to be the most recent PTS update that builds on top of this PTS update itself. So again, going back to November 20th, they brought the NS Operatives system online on the test server. And it's just the initial testing phase. They were referring to it initially as Black Ops, but again, they've renamed it Nanite Systems Operatives, which I do kind of like better than Black Ops itself. And the way that the NSO is going to work, and I'm going to be calling it NSO from now on, the way NSO is going to work is you're a robot, and you're always going to fight for the lowest populated faction on whatever continent you zone into. So basically, if you are playing around on Indar, for example, and VS is the underpopped server, when you first log into Indar, bam, you're going to be playing as VS. If then later on you decide you're going to move on to Esamir, and you head over to Esamir, and on that one, NC is the most underpopped faction, you're going to be fighting for NC. So yes, you will be able to bounce around as different factions based on whichever place has the least amount of players at any given time. And it does sound like also that you can leave a continent, like say you're playing for an overpop faction and you're just kind of stuck in a Zerg and dislike it, you can switch off to a different continent and then come back. And it's going to put you on to the next lowest, on the newest, lowest popped faction. So again, this is not a bad idea. The only crappy part about it I see is what happens if you get DC'd for any reason and, kicked out of the game, then you try to get back on, there's a potential that you're going to get switched to a different faction, which kind of stinks. It's also going to be interesting to see how they do this with folks in a squad or in an outfit, because you could potentially have the ability to be playing within your squad and outfit, but different factions. So I'm hoping that they're going to put something in that if you're playing in a squad, that the first person on the continent, that's where everybody's going to be switched over to, because that would kind of be wonky if you could have multiple people in a squad if in different factions. That just wouldn't work. So certainly we're going to see how that is actually working. But these guys are live on test right now if you want to go and play around with them. I played around with them a little bit last week, and it was definitely kind of interesting seeing how they play. And it's still tough to differentiate them because of their colors at this point. But this is basically the initial round of testing on them. They know that they're unfinished. They know that there's going to be fixes, but they want people to go in and play with them. And they want you to submit /bug reports for anything new that you discover. In this update, they have no damage immunity in the warp gate, so you can get killed in the warp gate. They know that many consumable and deployable items are unfinished for them. Squad and personal waypoints are not appearing on the map, but do appear on the HUD right now. The radio menu is not working correctly. Logging in as an infiltrator is going to start you with a spawn beacon in your hand, and it disrupts attachments on other weapons until you scroll through them. They know that. Some weapons are receiving unnecessary faction tints. Ranks and profile banners are unfinished. There's potential for you to fall through terrain in initial zone in. They say just respawn. The tutorial exists and is broken for NSO characters. I experienced this myself the first time I ran through it, trying to switch over to... It kept asking me to switch over to a medic, even though I was a medic, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. They also know that the vehicle shaders are not playing nicely with cloaking, and the marketplace is pretty much empty for NSO characters, all things that they're aware of. So basically they know that that's out there, but still the NSO is out there for you to actually go around and play with. And I'm going to be going out and playing with it as much as I possibly can so that they can log as much about this as they can, because I'm really excited for this stuff. And I know I said it on last week's show as well, that this is something new. I'm really excited to see how this is done. And with that, let's move on to topic 3, which is the next update for this. And that's the November 26th PTS update, and this is all just small bug fixes at this point. So they did disable the tutorial in this update because they need to iron out some of the stuff for NSO. They also turned off friendly fire in the warp gates for NSO characters, which was important. I'm glad that they did that because you could get killed by someone and didn't really mean it. There's a bug for deployables mistaking allies for enemies that should be fixed. The terminals inside of warp gates should be usable by NSO characters now. Vehicle weapons should work correctly for NSO characters. And they also made some repairs to how characters appear in the new character create screen. Because I didn't even mention that before. The new character create screen or character selection screen is also available with the most recent PTS update. And it looks more like the PS4 screen, I'm not going to lie. So certainly very interesting with that, how that's been rolled out. And that's the 26th PTS update in a nutshell. And I think we're going to see quite a few of these small updates to the PTS in the next coming weeks or throughout the entire month of December and into January as different stuff with NSO is fixed, worked on, and ironed out. Because I don't think that this is something we're going to see quickly into the game. At least I don't expect to see NSO this year. I expect it to be something in the first quarter of 2019. That's not been confirmed to me. No one at Daybreak Games has said that to me. That's just my gut feeling. So again, we're probably going to see quite a few of these little updates as we go forward. But with that, let's move on to our fourth and final topic this week. And that topic is about dual wielding in the game itself. Because if you guys weren't aware, they had a pretty big, well, first off, they had a lot of changes to the loading screens of the game itself with a lot of concept art that's been put out there. They also have been doing a loading screen contest right now, and we'll get the results of that sometime this week. So next week's show, I'll be able to talk about that. But in one of the loading screen images, it's a whole bunch of TR players, and in one of the screens, you actually see a medic wielding a shotgun and also using a revive tool at the exact same time. So of course, since we're such a community who sees things like that, it was immediately called out and posted on Reddit, saying, when is this coming as an ASP trait? Will this be coming as an ASP trait? Why isn't this in game? Can we use it for more things like that? And the quick response to that is that Nick responded immediately and said that he called it. He knew as soon as he saw that. He knew as soon as he saw it, and people would be calling out it instead of just realizing that it's concept art. And not necessarily something that would be coming to the game. That being said, He does like the idea of dual wielding in game. He just feels that there will probably be a ton of animation work involved with getting something like that into the game itself. And so then he punted that over to Matt Sherman. And Matt, who does all the art in the game itself, replied as well. And he says, there is a lot of animation work to get this into the game. It would be considered a new wield type, so there would need to be custom locomotion animations, both passive, active, and ADS distances, as well as jumps, falls, and lands. Also reloads, death, firing recoils, additives for aiming, custom vehicle animation, hit recoils, etc. And he says that's just the actual animation work. Then he says there also needs to be the animation network support for handling all of these, and it also has to be done in both first and third person views for everything that he just listed. He says he's sure that you guys have a sense for this stuff, and it's quite a time investment to do it right. So what this says to me is that while Nick likes the idea and there's some concept art out about it, that this is not something that we are going to see in Planetside 2 2018, 2019. This would be far too much work. This is something that I feel would need to have been done initially when Planetside 2 was created. At this late point in the game, I don't feel that this is something that we're ever going to see in the game, just based on Matt's response, with all the amount of stuff that's gonna have to be done to put something like this in game. And I really don't think that this would even be something that on the devs' special time in December that they could work on something like this. From his initial gut reaction to this is far too much work to get something like this into the game itself. So while it may be cool to dream about dual wielding in Planetside 2, I don't think that we're ever going to see it. Call me a pessimist, whatever. It's just my opinion on that. So as cool as that would be, again, dual wielding pistols as an infiltrator, I would love to dual wield 2 Derringer pistols. That's one of my dreams in the game itself. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. So that's going to be it. With that, let's move on to housekeeping this week.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
I coming anyway?
Unfortunately, no housekeeping this week. I expected quite a few emails based on Drew's show last week, but I guess not. So no emails, no voicemails, just a quiet week. Maybe, but everybody's out there doing their holiday shopping, and if so, that's fine as long as they're using my Amazon link. But that's going to be it for this week's show. So how can you get in touch with me or the show itself? As always, your first stop should be my website, www.instantactionpodcast.com. You can also email me at instantactionshow@gmail.com. You can call me and leave me a voicemail, 347-4VM-4PS2. Those digits are 347-486-4772. Also, follow the show on Twitter at InstActPodcast, and you can follow me directly on Twitter at The Derringer. But in closing, if you've enjoyed the show, please leave me a review on your podcast listening avenue of choice, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere else. Also, feel free to tell your friends and outfit mates about the show. And finally, thanks for listening, and keep spamming that Join Combat, formerly known as Instant Action button.
So on the Instant Action podcast this week, and I listened to that, Derringer.